Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel here. Birmingham reaction show, Triple Crown race here. And want to thank everybody for tuning in. Want to thank our sponsor for this show, which is Complete Racing Solutions and Coach Rob. Coach Rob has workouts for everyone, whether you are an amateur, a professional, a fat old guy like myself. Coach Rob has all the info, all the workouts, everything you need at CompleteRacingSolutions.com. So make sure to go check those out. Links going to be in the description down below. So Birmingham here, we are in round number, I believe this is 10. We are in the home stretch. We have 8 weeks to wrap this up here. Let's jump in with our 250s here. So Nate Thrasher does Nate Thrasher things. Has a pretty consistent night, ends up winning the overall here. And this really isn't a surprise. Nate Thrasher is good for these usually about once a year, which is absolutely wild and crazy that he does this all the time. But this is what keeps that kid alive, basically. He keeps getting rides and things because he can do this. He can just rattle off a random win. Now, beyond that, highly surprised at how consistent RJ was all night. We kind of talked about this on the Daniel Blair show. If you guys didn't see, I was on that last week here. Man, if RJ can hold it together, RJ could win this title, which would be crazy. But he seems to be slightly better, but RJ will constantly RJ. And I was nervous that whole third moto thinking RJ would RJ. So we'll have to see how he does going forward. But again, tonight, pretty consistent, low-key, even keel night for him. Seth might have this kind of figured out. I've been kind of doubting him, which I guess is to my demise. But, you know, Seth hasn't really finished a series. So I'm kind of waiting to see that happen. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. And he had a great night. I mean, going 9-1-1 there. Great, fantastic. He that first race, what could have been there, you know, even if he gets a second or a third, he wins this overall here and wins 2 in a row, and then is right in this points chase here. Now Vial doing Vial things, doing Tim Ferry things, for lack of a better term here, man. He is Tim Ferrying his way to this title here. Dax Bennett had a solid night. Real bummer that his teammate there, Max Anstey, out with a broken leg in qualifying. That's a real bummer to see. Volan 6th, Hymas 7th, Cullen Park 8th. Hardy Munoz, a super solid night, running in the top 5 a lot for 9th place, and round out the top 10, Austin Faulkner. Now, Austin Faulkner is one that we're going to talk a lot about on the main show here, and it's kind of going to be one of those things of like, is he broken or is he just coming back? Because I'm not really sure at this point. Me and Coach have actually been conversating a little bit back and forth about it. I'm not really sure, but it's not a great look to see him, you know, kind of floating around top 10, just outside top 10. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens here as we continue on. Now, moving on to 450s there. And see, guys, I have results here. Oh, well, I did. Let's see here. Oh, shoot. Let's go back. We need... Yes. There we go. All right, moving on to 450s here. So Sexton picks up the win, actually does what he should be doing, what he should have done in Texas, which is kind of mail it in on that last one. He had it, no problem, won the first 2, came off the break, and this was one of those things where I thought this was going to be a very, very pivotal moment for him with this race. He could either put himself back into the title, which is what he did, or he could have completely taken himself out of the title. He put himself back in the title. He showed some maturity tonight, and he managed to get the overall there in this and pick up the win. Lower the points now to, I think he's 8 behind is what they showed. So that was great. Mookie, after a rough qualifying day, to have the night he did, end up finishing 2nd overall. That's fantastic. Mookie's having a banner year here. It'd be interesting to see what he does next year with how the Husky gas situation all shakes down. But overall, great night for Malcolm Stewart. Aaron Plessinger, man on a mission there. 2 hole shots the first 2 races. Rode absolutely amazing all night. Hopefully this is a sign that he's getting back into form. He's going to finish the season strong, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Webb, that first one just completely screwed him over for any chance on this. He was just way too far behind. He looked solid that last one, but you can't have a first moto where you're 8th or 9th like that and win these. I know he had like the 6th place in whatever it was there, Glendale, but you can't do a 7, 8, 9 and win without a whole bunch of chaos happening. Kenny riding through the shoulder injury for top 5, very, very solid, but he is officially out of this points chase as far as I'm concerned. Maybe he gets back in if something absolutely wild and crazy happens to both Coop and Sexton, but I have a hard time seeing that. Justin Cooper with a solid night. I really thought this track might lend itself more to him with the way it broke down in qualifying, but to be honest, the track crew saved it for the night show. During the day, if you watch my qualifying show when I did the LCQs, track was garbage, absolute garbage. They'd lost it. They'd lost the water in it. They put a bunch of water down, to make this track as good as it was for tonight. And how they got it to hold together as well as it did, I couldn't tell you, but great job. All the kudos to those guys because the track was much, much better. Jason Anderson, just a complete shit show of a night for him there. Going down the first, getting taken out the first 2, once by Coop, once by Sexton, and then the third main with his whole shot device not letting go there and him crashing. To salvage a 7th, that was great. Shane up front there on the first one ends up 8th overall. That's cool. Barsha, weird night for 9th, and round out the top 10 there, Benny. Overall, okay night. Wasn't the greatest racing I'm going to say I've ever seen, but ended up working out a little bit better than I had anticipated, because during qualifying I thought it was just going to be terrible, one line, nothing really happening, and that's not what happens. So comment your thoughts down below. We have a main show we will be filming tomorrow night, so if you guys haven't yet, join the members area. You get to watch us film the show live, so you get kind of early access there. Everything but the phone interviews. The phone interviews, we're just not technologically savvy enough to be able to broadcast that over the live stream, so we just don't do that right now. But everything else is there. So thank y'all for tuning in. Links in the description down below, and we will see y'all on the main show on Tuesday.